Guys, I just golfed for almost 5 hours. I am dead tired. I just don't feel like recording the DQ Frenzy this week, man. What do you think about it?
I'm okay with skipping it this week.
Yep. Sorry, guys. No episode this week, suckers.
Darn. Just kidding. Haha, got you guys. We have an episode. Just not in person.
Sorry, guys.
Because someone decided to go home.
I live in Pittsburgh, man. Golf, man. Give us a break. We had fun.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Welcome back to the DQ Football Frenzy, where we have chill vibes and cold takes. This is your host, Dylan Shields, and this is your other host, Quinn. And we're back. Yeah, like we said in the intro, just kidding. We do have a full episode. There's a lot to talk about. And Dylan, remember back a few months ago when we were like, yeah, we don't know if we'll upgrade or post all summer, but we'll see when episodes come out. Well, it's still every Thursday that we have episodes coming out, so you don't have to miss us. We'll be here. Dylan and I are doing a little fire and water coloring today, red and blue. And speaking of players who wear red, we got two divas who wear red.
The DQ Frenzy News.
In the NFL, both causing problems. Starting with more red of the two teams, thank you. The Chiefs and Rashee Rice. Rice is free from jail on June 16th. Yeah, keep him in there. But yeah, June 16th, he was officially released from Dallas County Jail. He did his 30-day sentence following a probation violation back on May 19th. Where he tested positive for THC. Great job, man. And driving too fast. So he did get out to do some rehab at a hospital on his knee. So at least that's good for NFL terms. But Andy Reid says he expects Rice to show up to training camp in July on time. But he's a little out of shape from not playing a lot and being injured. And he's facing a looming NFL mandated suspension too. So we'll see what happens there. But Chiefs wide receivers are just not very happy. Dylan, you have any comments about this man who we thought was great? And back in college, we were like, Rice, he's great. He's helping me in fantasy or something. And then turns out to be a sleazebag.
He's a sleazebag. That's all I got to say. He's a sleazebag.
Yeah.
It's funny. I like the like out of shape thing you mentioned because he's in jail. Yet Mike Tyson went to jail for a couple of years and was like in the best shape of his life when he got released and came back to boxing. So just want to throw that out there. Like I said, I doubt he gets punished that much. It's the NFL. They don't treat these things like they compared to the gambling thing. Which, by the way, that's crazy that Texas Tech player turns out he's going to be in the supplementary draft. Way to stab them in the back by being like, actually, guys, I'm not going to play for you. I'm just going to go to the NFL. Way to just
NFL lets him.
Way to
be in the draft.
True. I mean, supplemental. We'll see if they let him in that draft. But way to pull a Lane Kiffin and just stab your team in the back. But in terms of Rice, whatever, man.
Yeah. Since you mentioned it, I think Brandon Sorsby is going to go into the NFL Supplemental Draft if the NFL approves him. I don't know if they have or have not yet. But, yeah, I mean, like Dylan said, they take gambling really seriously, and other things are just like, what do we care about what these people do in their free time? But if it's gambling, it's hard.
Assault, driving fast, it's fine.
Yeah, but gambling, absolutely. So yeah, NFL has interesting priorities, but we'll see if he even is led into the draft. I mean, gambling 90,000 his freshman year is a lot. NFL is probably like, oh, keep him away from us. No way, send him off to UFL or something. Ugh, disgusting. That'll be interesting to see. But jumping over to the other player, the other diva in red, we had some news on him already, but that's Brandon Ayiuk, who is still under contract with the 49ers, but the Niners, according to reports from NFL insiders, so take it with a grain of salt because they're in NFL insiders, confirmed that the Niners are actively preparing to release him before training camp because they don't want him. And I don't know how many teams do want him, to be honest. But as a reminder, the other week on Instagram, he called the 49ers brass little boys. We'll say that. And then female dogs, and called them stupid for paying him $50 million over the last 8 months just to void his contract. And he was seen wearing a Commander's hat and flashing Commander's game ball because the Commanders want him. The Commanders need help on defense. I don't know. Commanders could sign him, but I wouldn't bet on the Commanders just being like, ooh, let's gather all these 49ers ex-players because clearly that worked out incredibly. I mean, they signed the wide receiver from the Niners, the wide back, technically, Debo. And he did some decent things, but he also, I wouldn't say he was incredible. I don't think.
Well, you want to talk about out of shape too?
Yeah.
He was. Didn't he look? He looked a little bigger last season than he has previous years.
Yeah. Anyway, the Niners, because they didn't show up and misbehaved, they used a front office clause where they placed him on the reserve left team list and officially voided his 2026 contract guarantees. Currently, it counts as $0 against their 90-man roster. Because June 1st has passed, the release allows the Niners to split his massive dead cap pip over the next 2 years. So if he does go to free agency, we'll see what happens. I mean, to be honest, if I'm an NFL team and I'm looking at Aiyuk, if I need a wide receiver from free agency, let's say, I might be more inclined to get Tyreek Hill. If they're both going to be divas, at least Tyreek Hill's good. I don't know. That's a whole other discussion, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that, where that takes us. But Dylan, any comments on this diva?
Well, they screwed up. They should have traded him last year instead of extending him, and then you could have gotten some compensation for it, even though the Niners in drafting usually don't go well. But you would have had more picks. But no, now you're just going to release him when he's at his worst value because no one wants him. You screwed the pooch on that. Dolphins did with Tyreek too. Like, you got to pick the right times to get rid of people. And when they extended Aiyuk, not this offseason, but last, was just weird timing anyway, because it wasn't like Aiyuk was setting the world on fire that much. Like, he was good, but, it was kind of a controversy back then on the extension. And then the injury happened, and yeah, his career's just been ruined since. So this is the land of second chances. Like we saw with Sam Darnold, even though it's a completely different position, that you could have a career renaissance in the league. But not if you keep up this drama. You're going to join AB in the insane asylum club if you keep this up. I'm surprised he hasn't taken the A.J. Brown approach of the enemy speaks kindly to my heart tweets. That's pretty much what he's doing at this point.
He's not being like any sort of passive aggressive. He's just being aggressive, which is wild. Because that showing that side to a new company that can bring you in is clearly a great way to join another team or company in a general sense. He's a real smart guy. Real smart. Anyway, moving on. We have some news from other major sports. We'll have 3 other major sports, but we're going to start with the reason why New York started burning down partially the other day, last weekend. And that's because the Knicks won the NBA.
Oh, sorry, this sound effect.
Yeah,
Lots of that.
a lot of interesting things. And they said Philly was bad. Man, we just want to climb the light poles. We're not setting buses on fire. So let
Said
Philly
World
climb the
Cup
light
buses
poles.
on fire.
Yeah, like come on, we're not the problem. This is New York anyway. Uh, but yeah, so the first time in 53 years, the New York Knicks are the champions in American basketball. Yeah, the Spurs were, I don't know if they're heavy favorites, but they're certainly favorites going in. I mean, they beat the reigning champs of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who were supposed to be the undefeated team, like the dynasty of all dynasties, and then they lose to the
They say
Spurs
that
in
every
a
year.
full 7 game series, which was a good series. But yeah, Wembanyama wasn't clutch exactly, and Spurs certainly lost a few games they should have and could have won. But hey, the Spurs won. Uh, the Knicks won, and I will say I don't mind the Knicks winning for 2 reasons. One is that like they beat the Sixers, so at least they can do is win. So at least the Sixers would have lost to the
Makes you look good.
winners of the NBA. So it feels a little better for Sixers fans. And there is, excuse me, there is a player on their team named Carl Anthony Towns. He's gone on the Rich Eisen show a few times and
I know
openly
where you're going.
trolled their Cowboys fan, part of the show, and sends I forget, he sent him like flowers when the Cowboys lost, or I
He's done a
forget
lot of
exactly what he
stuff.
did,
He's done a
but
lot of
it's
stuff to troll him.
phenomenal. It's hilarious. So, other than making the Sixers look better, I'm glad they won because that man, Carl Anthony Towns, got a ring just because he trolls Cowboys fans, which I think is great. I love that. But yeah, definitely a bit unexpected. I feel like a lot of the talk in the early rounds of the playoffs there was like, oh, the Knicks were preparing for the Celtics. Now the Sixers are going to come up. What's going to happen? And then Knicks are like, oh, we'll just roll everyone else. Which, fair enough. They certainly had a deep team. Apparently, Google was auto-correcting one of Brunson's name to like Big Play Brunson or something. I don't know if that was
Of
true or not,
course.
but it's not appearing on Google now. But there's some screenshots of the joke. But yeah, the Knicks played really well, and 53 years they're back on it. Good for New York City, I suppose. Dylan, I think you were rooting for the Spurs here. You have any comments or rages to go on about basketball?
I'm not raged. It's just some of the fans I can't stand. Like, you can talk trash to Spurs fans and to Wemby if they're walking into hotel rooms or whatever, but when it gets physical, people throwing stuff at him, attacking Spurs fans on the streets, that's where you lose me. Like, you could be this big tough Eastern city all you want, but don't act like that. That's just foolish. But for the good Knick fans that don't do that crap, I mean, it is a feel good thing for them. Yeah, I rooted for the Spurs. I love Wemby. He's fun to watch. I mean, I'm a bandwagon. I don't have any NBA teams. I'm from Pittsburgh. I mean, the Sixers are the closest I got, but they're nowhere near championship contention. It was, despite it being the 4-1, it was one of the better final series we've had recently. And the Spurs could have won every single one of those games that the Knicks lost. They were up by at least over 10 points in the fourth quarter in every one of their 4 losses. The big one being the 29 or 30 point lead they had in the second half that they lost. And it wasn't just, you've mentioned Carl Anthony Towns and Brunson that are obviously the 2 main pieces, but it's also OG with the game-winning tip. It's Josh Hart having a solid series. It's the depth the Knicks have that the Spurs didn't. The Spurs don't have a good bench compared to the Knicks. You could tell because Wemby's minutes are kind of inconsistent. Like in the Eastern Conference Finals, there would be some games where he didn't play a lot compared to like other superstar players. And like I said, the depth's just not there. I mean, they got good pieces. Dylan Harper was a good player, but struggled in this series. De'Aaron Fox might have single-handedly run his ticket out of town with this series, which is a shame because he was a great player for the Kings and had a great season with the Spurs. And you feel like this would have been the acquisition to get them over the top, but he actually kind of screwed them. Whether it was where he should have just dribbled it out, instead he decides to shoot a layup for some reason, or just game 5 missing so many shots, only like having a horrible percentage. Even Wemby didn't look like himself. Like, you look at the stats, like scoring and rebound wise, you'll think, what are you talking about? He's did good. But you look at the field goal percentage and the missed free throws, he didn't have a good series. But people crapping on the Spurs, I think, a little too much for a team that we had expectations for, but I don't know if we thought they'd beat Oklahoma City and got to the finals. I understand it's tougher to get to the finals than ever because it's easy to say, oh, the Spurs will be back. I don't know. We've said that about how many teams? Remember the KD, Westbrook, Harden, Thunder that was supposed to be a dynasty? They never got back to the finals after their first try. The Mavericks with Luka, we thought they'd get back. They didn't. We thought Oklahoma City would get back. They didn't. Dynasties aren't a thing anymore, so I get why people could be skeptical. But as long as Wemby's healthy, I do think they should at least be able to compete for years to come. And the Knicks, same thing. Like, well-deserved. Brunson, easy MVP. I mean, he went off in Game 5. Not every game he did great, but in the biggest one he did. And just the comebacks they pulled in the fourth quarter, while a lot of them were on the Spurs, you got to give him credit for coming back and for playing that well against a great team. I mean, they matched up well. Cat seemed to dominate Wemby on defense. He seemed to be a perfect matchup for him. Like I said, OG was a very underrated player in this series. I'd say Josh Hart, too. Had his struggles, but again, very underrated acquisition they got a few years ago. And just insane to say that the Knicks are champions. We're used to them being perennial losers. They got better because of the Brunson, which might be one of the greatest free agency pickups of all time. I mean, the Mavericks literally let the dude walk. So that's 2 massive screw-ups that the Mavericks have had over the past few years, which is just hilarious to me. Well-deserved. I don't like cities getting burnt down, although it's entertaining to watch when I'm doom scrolling on Instagram about the city being burnt down. But good for the good New York fans. The bad ones that want to attack people and burn the city down and go screw themselves. But, like, for the good fans, and swallow my pride and say the celebrity fans, even though we see them every 2 seconds, good for them. Very, very historic and awesome series to watch.
Yeah. I don't know in general how there's sports fans that are like, we won. You know what would be fun? Destroying something, like burning something. Like, I don't
You guys
understand.
do it.
Bad Philly fans, but I don't. Why is your instinct to light something on fire, destroy it? I don't understand. You know what it is?
Yes, we're animals.
Animals. But speaking of animals, we have the NHL playoffs are now over as well. The Stanley Cup. The Carolina Hurricanes have won it all. 20 years ago is when they won their last championship. Dylan is happy. He was born in Carolina.
Charlotte, baby.
Nice. Yeah, the playoffs were interesting. Started with the Flyers and all the Philly teams did pretty well in the first round of the playoffs for these two. The Flyers, they beat Pittsburgh and then got rolled by the Hurricanes 0-4. I mean, the Hurricanes did pretty well. They rolled Ottawa as well, 4-1 against Montreal, who had knocked out the kind of exciting Buffalo Sabres team that we all kind of thought like, oh, yeah, maybe they can go far. That'd be fun. Imagine like a Buffalo-Philly matchup in the playoffs. That'd be fun. Teams who haven't been good for a while, but unfortunately, those dreams were crushed on both sides of the bracket there. Meanwhile, Vegas beat Utah Mammoths, who actually made it to the Stanley playoffs in their second year as a team, which is interesting, exciting. And they beat the Anaheim Ducks 4-2. Same thing, same score against the Mammoths, and then rolled the Avalanche, kind of surprisingly.
That was the shocking one.
Yeah, I mean, Avalanche rolled the Kings 4-0, and then Minnesota Wild 4-1.
It was looking like a Colorado, Carolina, like two best teams in the league finals, and then Vegas had to ruin it.
Yeah. Dang it, Vegas. No one wants you. Get out of here. They do have kind of a cool logo, but I would have preferred the Avalanche getting in there. But either way, definitely good as no, like Dylan said, there's no like dominant team really in hockey either, as well as baseball or basketball. Sorry, baseball's a whole different thing. But yeah, definitely entertaining. I didn't keep as much track of the Stanley Cups here, but Dylan, what do you think?
Well, first of all, shout out to Jordan Staal, former Penguin that's still in the league. Won our 2009 Stanley Cup, and now he wins one with Carolina. That's just such a feel-good thing. I hate being this arrogant saying this, but it's kind of like it's about time. Like this core, if they wouldn't have won a cup, it would have been a massive disappointment because how many times have they gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals and have gotten absolutely crushed? This was kind of like the stars aligned and they finally put the pieces together. I mean, their defense is relentless. That's why they were probably known as the most complete team in hockey, and why I think I expected them and a lot of them expect them to finally make this run. Vegas was the underdog. They had a average regular season, and then just the offense just tore it up in the playoffs. Carlson getting hurt in the series definitely hurt Vegas big time. And it was looking like one of the all-time series for the first few games. I mean, Carolina coming back from a 4-0 deficit just to lose in overtime, a bunch of overtime games in the first few games. But then games 5 and 6 were just pure blowouts. Like Carolina just dominated them. Vegas had no answers. And Freddie Anderson, their usual starter goalie for Carolina, struggled. And they put in Brandon Bussi, which he is like the underdog story of the century in NHL. A journeyman guy that got picked up by them. I believe he was injured all throughout the regular season. Comes in the Stanley Cup, I believe in his first time playing all season. It was the game they lost in overtime, but still down 4-0 and went nuts. And they stuck with him for the rest of the series. They benched Anderson, one of the best goalies in hockey, to start him, and it was the right decision because the last two games were shutouts. Or I think game 5 was like 4-1 or something. But game 6 was a shutout. But still, what a story for them and that team. I mean, just a feel-good thing. Obviously, again, I'm biased because Charlotte. I'll admit, paid more attention to the NBA than NHL, especially when the Penguins got eliminated by the Flyers. I mean, Carolina would have smoked both of us. We can both just admit that. I mean, at least you guys took them to overtime. If it was the Penguins Hurricanes, that's a sweep. Easy sweep. But, yeah, I mean, it's about time they got this cup. But at the same time, felt good for them. It felt really good for them. And you could tell, like I said, the Carlson injury hurt Vegas. I mean, Jack Eichel and Mitch Marner did good. They're the reason why they got to the finals. But those final few games, they struggled, and that made all the difference.
Yeah. But we come upon our very last sport. And we're going to start with a fun way that we haven't done in a long time. We're going to go back to wow and ow.
World Cup edition.
Wow and ow.
Wow. Stop it! Wow! No!
I've already got an owl for you.
Ow.
That's an owl.
But funny enough, you get 2 pictures of golfing, or you get to see 2 images of golfing Wednesday. That was in the intro video and just there in the this wow and ow.
That was Top Golf.
Yeah.
Good old
Anyway.
Top Golf.
So yeah, we're gonna do a little wow and ow to kind of summarize what's been going on so far in the World Cup. The first set of games is pretty much over now. There's still a few more to be played, and there's some being played right now. Actually, no, they're ending. But that's fine.
Not till later.
Yeah. The England-Croatia game actually just ended recently, which is fun. But anyway, we are, so we're going to summarize kind of the big things with wow and ow. So first, we're going to start with wow, because we're back. It's wow. It's good feelings, you know. So wow. The U.S. Paraguay 4-1. Yeah. The U.S. had an absolutely dominant performance with goal from the goals we scored to our passing and the shots taken. We just had a great game. Some people are comparing it to like 2010
Balogun
Spain.
had himself a game, 2 goals.
He
Could have
had,
been a third
yeah,
if he
he had a
wasn't offsides.
great game. Yeah. So, really exciting stuff. And our manager from Argentina seems to be the real deal. Mauricio Pochettino, I believe is how you pronounce it. But
Yeah.
he seems to know how to put the team together, which is exciting because maybe the U.S. has a good
I mean,
chance,
he
even though we had
killed it in the Premier League. That's why we
yeah,
hired him. He had really good teams in Tottenham in the Premier League. So
yeah. So even though we have a stupid, horrible chant, um, we don't look too bad. Exciting start to the World Cup.
don't worry.
Um,
At my watch party, we didn't do that chant. We did the "I believe that we will win" chant, the better chant. We did that at our watch party at our bars. So thankfully,
good,
we didn't
good.
do that. Let's not offend anyone chant.
Yeah, no one cares. Another wow is Sweden beating Tunisia 5-1. So this is the highest scoring World Cup match for Sweden in 88 years. Wow. And Sweden did not win any traditional qualifying matches before the World Cup, which makes this dominance performance even more surprising. But Sweden might be someone or a country to keep an eye out for a little more. It is Tunisia. I don't think they have the greatest team. I can't say for certain though. I don't know a lot about their team, but clearly it's not as good as Sweden's team. But yeah, Sweden. Wow. Another wow is France playing Senegal. There are some teams we'll get to later that were heavy favorites that disappointed, but France is not one of them. My pick is still doing pretty well after one game. Um, but they beat Senegal 3-1. Kind of an ugly first half, to be honest. But the second half, Mbappe came on the scene, got 2 goals, and actually passed Messi for the most goals in the World Cup. They're now tied again, which we'll get to later. Um, but yeah, the pretty good game. I mean, there's 2 goals scored in the final time, the plus time at the end of the game. But yeah, France looking pretty good. You know what? While we're on it, we'll mention Messi in Argentina. So Messi
You
scored
better
3
freaking hat
goals,
trick.
hat trick at the World Cup. Everyone thought he was just old now and didn't have anything left in the tank. Well, they were wrong. Algeria got
Who the heck is
destroyed.
who the heck is saying that about Messi? I want your edge check if there's any skeptics about that. They saying the same thing about Ronaldo too, although he didn't look.
Yeah, Ronaldo didn't look as good. He is 3 years older than Messi, about. But yeah, absolutely great game. I don't know if anyone expected Messi to come out and do a hat trick. It's crazy, but wow, he has still got it. Did anyone doubt? Not me. All right, next wow and final wow is Holland on Norway's team. He had 2 goals. It's his first, or I think his first World Cup as well. That might not, you might need to fact check that. But this is the first World Cup game for Norway since 1998, and they're a dark horse contender. There's some other dark horses we'll get to in a moment.
Well, when you
did
have
not do
Holland, it makes
as well.
sense. You have Holland making his debut. The dude is just a goal scorer machine. I see why Norway's that confident.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely impressive, and it was fun to watch his goals. I mean, it's fun to watch all the stars come out and just play well. I mean, Mbappe with his 2 goals, just it's fun to watch.
Oh, how do you
Also,
not mention? Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Sorry, not sorry.
you're good.
How do you not mention Germany? I'm shocked you didn't mention them. 7-1. You had a little bit of
Yeah.
a scare there in the first half, but your team won. I'm surprised you're not bragging
Yeah.
about that.
Germany did win 7-1 versus Curacao. They're smaller
your
nation,
team,
but
the
yeah,
last 2 World Cups couldn't even make it out of group stages. So this is like a good start.
dominant win. Very exciting. 26 shots, 11 on target, 600 passes, 65%.
You were probably going to
possession,
mention them, and then I
accuracy.
interrupted you. So sorry.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, Germany dominant performance as well, 7-1. Definitely exciting. And I'll add a bonus one on here. We got a lot of wows today, less ows, but England just beat Croatia today, 4-2. It was a little back and forth too, honestly. But Harry Kane got 2 goals.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham got a goal as well. But yeah, England's looking a little bit better. 20 shots, 12 on target. But yeah, Croatia's not any chump either. They have a decent team this year. Some people are talking about them as kind of a dark horse, but well,
they made it in 2018.
Yeah, they did.
Finals.
Yeah. Also, before I forget, I had this note somewhere else, so apologies. But what makes America's win even more impressive is that Paraguay in the qualifiers for the World Cup beat Argentina 2-1 and Brazil 1-0, 1-0. So Paraguay isn't any slouch. If anyone was like, "No, yeah, it's just Paraguay," no,
it's the most goal. It's the most goals U.S. ever scored in the World Cup too.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, unfortunately, now we have to go to the ows section, and I'll give you a secret. Some of these are wows for the other team, but we can't just have all wows because that would be no fun. And also, kind of negate the whole point of the segment being an ow. But we got the ows now. This is a true ow, I think, for all teams, and that is that Group B, they all have ties. I think it's the only group that has had draws on all of their matches, and that includes Switzerland, Canada, Qatar, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think that's pronounced. And they're all 1-1 ties. So at least they all scored. So there's 4 points scored in that group, but all of them are tied. So interesting group. Another owl is Ecuador losing to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is a country in Africa, not super well known for soccer as much as other countries, especially some of the powerhouses. Ecuador was supposed to be a dark horse as well, with names like...
I think Ivory Coast is underrated, though, of a team.
Yeah.
They got speed.
Yeah, I would say they have some pieces. But, I mean, Ecuador has a pretty good roster with names like, and apologies for incorrect pronunciation, but Moises Caicedo, who plays for Chelsea. William Pacho plays for PSG.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Pyro Ika Peya, who plays for Arsenal. But yeah, Ecuador has a pretty good team, but not a great look compared for them. Not a great look. Maybe not a dark horse anymore. And then finally, the last owl is Spain.
Wow, I know.
Ow. You're supposed to be a favorite.
The favorites.
And they draw with Cabo Verde. Of all places, Cabo Verde. That's crazy. Their goalkeeper, Josemir Diaz.
Oh, gosh, some of the saves he made were insane.
27 shots taken at the goal.
Unk
he
still
made
got
7
it.
big saves, 8 total. That was an impressive performance from him. And Spain, what are you doing? He's a 40-year-old goalie. Jeez, you at least score once against them. I mean, I know they're having a good day, but like, you're supposed to be the powerhouse. So goalies aren't supposed to matter that much to you. Jeez. The interesting part too is that this goalkeeper went from 50,000 followers on Instagram to 50+ million in 24 hours after the game, which is it's kind of fun. I mean, social media is a weird monster, but nonetheless, we're here on it, and It's crazy to see that happen. So definitely a wow for that goalkeeper, Diaz, but also out for Spain. I mean, geez, like what are guys?
Out to the
Favorite?
country right next to them too, Portugal, for
Yeah,
drawing too. I know they had a bit of a tougher matchup than Spain did, but the chances that Ronaldo and that team had, I think I said Portugal to predict the World Cup, and I'm immediately regretting it. But I was more on the in my heart Portugal. It'd be cool to see Ronaldo get one, but in my mind, I'm like I said France, so
yeah.
I'll change it to
Ronaldo
France.
didn't even get a goal.
Shout out to Japan too for tying the Netherlands in the last minutes. I didn't expect that. I thought the Netherlands would roll through them, but considering how undersized Japan is, but yeah. I know this is a long segment, but we got to give shout outs at the World Cup, man. This is fun. It's an exciting World Cup and great games.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a few other teams that worth mentioning in the thing. Not particularly wow or out, but Austria beat Jordan 3-1 today. Yeah, Portugal tied with DR Congo 1-1 today. Not the greatest, but I mean, not the worst either. Um, Iran and New Zealand tied 2-2. I don't think that was as great as a matchup though. But yeah, Netherlands, Japan did pretty well. Australia beat Turkey 2-0. Turkey.
It's not going to be
I
a
don't know how
cakewalk for us
to
Friday at
say.
all.
Yeah, but
Friday.
Turkey was supposed to be like the best in the group. They're supposed to be like knocking out the U.S. and Australia's like, nah, 2-0. So we'll be playing Australia pretty soon. You said Friday, yeah. So we'll see how that goes, but that should be a good game. I still trust in the USA because it's called soccer.
I mean, they should be able to get out of groups, US. It's just after that that's always the downfall. When they play
Yeah.
the better offensive teams, and then we have to get defensive, and then we get in trouble because of that.
Otherwise, only other games worth mentioning briefly was Qatar and Switzerland tied 1-1. That was a pretty decent game, pretty decent show from both sides. And of course, it all started out with Mexico and South Africa. Mexico beating South Africa 2-0, having a crazy kind of red card game.
Oh my gosh.
But ooh, it was an interesting time. But yeah, pretty entertaining, pretty good start to the World Cup so far. Dylan, do you have any other games you want to mention or any comments about that or anything else?
I'll just say that there's nothing like the World Cup. You don't have to be a diehard football or soccer fan, according to Quinn, called soccer. It's fun to watch, and I understand maybe why people might be biased because I played soccer for a long time, my childhood, still do from time to time, and watching it sometimes may not be the most fun, depending on what you watch. But the World Cup, dude, watch it. Like the passion of their fan bases for these countries, and just some of the games, especially when we get towards the quarterfinals, semis, and last time's finals was probably the greatest soccer game ever played. So yeah, definitely watch it. Like guys like Mbappe, Holland, Kane, Messi, Ronaldo are still around. I mean, there's so much fun talent to watch on the world stage. There's nothing like it. And I would like to criticize too how we treat certain countries. Because while Mexico, when they get off the planes, is giving them like a mariachi band or whatever, they're like being treated well by fans, and we're like TSAing the crap out of teams. Like, not a fan of that personally. But besides that, fun World Cup.
Yeah. I think it's funny seeing all the videos of the fans coming to the US and being like, oh my goodness, there are people taking over New York Times Square, or like the Scottish in Boston, which is funny too because it's Irish, but the Scots are there. They're having a great time with the police officers doing kick-ups, and it's fun seeing just.
I think they were saying in Boston too, like
to...
they ran out of certain beers because the Scottish fans took over and like took it all.
Yeah, they took over Fenway Park and played the bagpipes till like 3 a.m. outside. You got British people trying like biscuits and gravy in like being like, oh my God, and ranch. People were trying ranch and being like, oh my God, this is fantastic. It's like, that's why we have it. But yeah, a lot of kind of nice, fun moments to watch and people discovering the joys of some of the things we enjoy just on a daily basis too. But yeah, I mean, honestly, for the World Cup, I think one of the players I'm most excited to watch is Holland. I don't know what it is.
It's his first
But
one.
yeah, so it'll be interesting and exciting to watch Norway. Holland also did a video with the Sidemen on YouTube and did like a football challenge thing that was kind of funny. But
And if you're
yeah.
a Man City fan, you're like really paying attention to him too. Want to see how he
Yeah.
does.
I'm not really a Man City fan. The kind of
I got friends that are though.
yeah. But anyway, this is a football show, and
Yes, I talk about football.
Let's talk about actual football, American football. So this week we are summarizing the NFC West. No, not boo. Woo! Yeah! Because we're going to start off with the Philadelphia Eagles. Woo! You stop that. Woo! Anyway, so the Eagles won 11-6 last year. The real issue, we got to the playoffs, lost. The real issue with it was the play calling, offensive play calling. Kevin Patullo, AJ Brown was having his issues. Apparently, he requested a trade in week 4, and then the next game was terrible and dropped some passes, and there's all that drama. Well, we don't have to worry about that right now. AJ Brown's gone. Before he left the stadium, he did sign his Pro Bowl picture and said like the best to ever do it in an Eagles uniform, something or other, which is kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, the offensive play calling was bad. Like the last play of the season was 4 reverts. It was like the Eagles have this thing where we just like to give the rest of the league a chance every other year and have just a terrible play caller like Brian Johnson a few years ago or Kevin Patullo. Patullo is gone. He's on like the Dolphins now, and he was talking some like mild, not trash, but kind of trash on Hurts. It's just like you're not even on the team anymore. Who's the problem here? Anyway, so kind of a disappointing season. We did win the division back to back the first time in like 20 years, which is nice. But to fix the receiver problem, well, we got a new coordinator from the Packers. It seems like a brilliant offensive mind, Sean Mannion. Everyone seems to love him so far. But we also brought in Hollywood Brown, 1-year deal. Tariq Woolen, who's been doing phenomenally in the camps. And he's tall. He's 6'4", which is kind of crazy for a cornerback. But we also got in Octavian Wicks, a few other wide receivers that shall remain nameless for now. And then we also brought in Andy Dalton from a trade with Carolina as a third stringer backup. And then we drafted Malachi Lemon in the first round, as well as some other exciting players. So the future is bright in Philadelphia. I'm excited. Go Birds. Dylan, do you have any comments besides boo?
Actual analysis. Gee, I'd never do that for a Philly team. I mean, we joke they're the every few year team, so this year they got to win the Super Bowl, right? You think so, or at least make the Super Bowl. I mean, they have to be a better team with the new coordinator, the new mind. I understand AJ Brown kind of fell off a cliff statistically, but I'm wondering how much that's going to hurt them. Like at least the threat of AJ Brown on the field. I know Mekhi Lemon is no scrub, but he's still going to be a rookie and take time to develop, and he's got some personality issues he needs to work on if he wants to stay in this league. Devontae's great, but he's also small. And now that he's going to be getting all the attention, all the pressures on Mekhi to like really step up. So I'm just curious. I mean, Saquon, I still think last year he had a good year. I just think because he did so good 2 years ago, it's like impossible to live up to it. It was always going to be kind of a downgrade from last year. I think he'll bounce back. The O-line's still good. Obviously, like you fixed up the defense very well. I mean, you should win the division again. It's really you and the Cowboys. Well, I mean, I say that, and like the Commanders and like every other team's usually like you have expectations and then they let you down. But yeah, I mean, you should be able to win the division. You still got most of the core besides AJ Brown. You got rid of, well, might be the number one problem. But if you struggle again this year, maybe a head coaching change. Maybe.
Maybe Sean Mannion would become the head coach. That'd be fun. Also, I want to say the Malachi Lemon personality thing is bogus. It's just from a weird interview at the combine. He's fine. He's not weird or anything. No personality issues.
We'll see.
This, but
We'll
that's
see.
just your Pittsburgh side being salty you didn't get him. That's all that is. Anyway, moving on to salty.
I like
people,
that
Dallas
Alabama
Cowboys.
receiver. I ain't salty. I like Arnold. I'm okay.
All right. Well, Dallas Cowboys are next up. 7-9-1 last season. If I had to summarize their season in one sentence, or in just a few words, offense, quite good. Defense, ew. Atrocious, in other words. They had a really high-scoring offense. Exciting. They actually had a running game, which we didn't expect, because they brought in, like, Jaleel McLaughlin, and he's actually doing well as a running back there for Dallas. But Dak was actually like healthy this year, but the defense just was bad. They couldn't stop any teams from scoring, and they lost a lot of games because the other team just scored more than them. It's unfortunate. At the beginning of the season, they did trade Micah Parsons to Green Bay Packers for a lot of first round picks. Kenny Clark did, I think, all right, but part of a bad defense. So they also moved some things around to get Quinnen Williams from the Jets, which also didn't really end up helping them that much because, again, the defense was just bad. And this was their first year, I believe, with George Pickens as well. And now they have him on a franchise tag, but he's going to show up for camp and not be a diva, even though it seems like he's a diva. I don't know. It's weird. But apparently everything's fine there. But Cowboys drafted a lot of defensive players in the draft. I saw a list that said the Cowboys defense is going to be like top 10. I'm like, all right, let's slow your roll. Let's not go from like one of the worst defenses to the best. Like they just drafted some people. Let's see how the rookies actually play first. But there's a lot of excitement around the defense and the Cowboys, of course, because it's our year. I may be wearing blue, but I do not like it. Dylan, what do you think?
I mean, it's tough to be excited about a team that you kind of know what's going to happen. Whether it's pretty much either underwhelming, don't make the playoffs, or make the playoffs and lose. It's one or the other. The offense is going to be exciting as always. I feel like they're going to be one of the best in the league, and I feel like people disrespect Dak way too much, and I'm impressed that you even gave him his flowers. But yeah, we'll have to see. On paper, the defense should be better, but is it though? And NFC is a dog path right now, and the Cowboys' schedule isn't that easy. I mean, I expect the NFC East to get better, so that alone will be tough for them. Yeah, I mean, we say a lot of the times they're a shrug emoji team for teams, and they're another example of one. I don't know. They could make the playoffs and probably lose, but they could also miss.
Yeah. Something I forgot about, which I think is kind of funny, is that they were the Cowboys, Eagles, and Rams were the final three teams for Myles Garrett for the trade. And I just think it's funny that they're the Cowboys are we need a pass rusher. We need a star pass rusher. How can we get one?
Yeah, we're really missing that. Oh, we're missing.
You just traded him away. I don't understand it, but I guess that's just the Cowboys.
I mean, I will say, it's tough to compare because they play different positions, but Myles Garrett's better than Micah Parsons. Myles Garrett might be the best player in the league.
Yeah, but Myles Garrett's also older than Micah Parsons. And probably Micah Parsons was, in fact, on the Cowboys already. Wild. Anyway, next up is the Washington Commanders, 5-12 record. They just kind of it's just injuries and their bad defense from like 2 years ago is kind of catching up to them. They're kind of an old team with some issues there, but the team still did well 2 years ago. I mean, Jaden Daniels carried them, but he hasn't had the same season since. I mean, he had a hamstring injury. He couldn't really run. McLaurin missed a lot of time. And yeah, their defense just struggled. I mean, they had such a bright future 2 years ago, and then it's just like it seems like people can't stay healthy, especially Daniels, because if he's on the field, it's a totally different story. They can actually win more games, but it's just they're they need to be healthy, and they need their quarterback healthy to play well, and they just don't have that. They need to get younger on defense, just overall too. I mean, McLaurin is not getting any younger. Debo, I don't think, is on the team anymore. I don't know if they actually bothered getting Aiyuk. I mean, after seeing what he's done, do you really want that? I mean, the Commanders just had a dumpster fire of a head coach 2 years or a few years ago, and do you really want to get back into that kind of drama again? They have a high ceiling, I think, with everything considered, even with their weaknesses, but they need to be healthy.
I mean, yeah, it's as simple as that. It really is. I don't know if they're ever really going to have a season like 2 years ago again. I felt like, I hate to say and hate on teams and say that this was a flash in the pan season, but man, you're really relying on Daniels to stay healthy, which I get it. He's the quarterback, but man, not a lot around you. They really didn't do anything to solve the running back position. I'll tell you that. I mean, Krosky Barrett did not live up to the hype. Eckler's too injured. Like, not inspired by their running backs at all. And even the receiving core outside of McLaurin, they have no depth there at all. I mean, I'm sure Sonny Styles will be a great addition to that defense. They desperately finally get someone that's not qualified for AARP on defense. I don't know if Bobby Wagner's still there. I believe he still is. I could be wrong. Sorry, I don't do my research, but I don't know. On paper, it could be, again, should be better. I expect them to compete for the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near competing for the division or going 12, 13 wins. They're probably going to, I'd say I expect them to be around the mix of a couple years ago, 9 to 11 wins, and could possibly make a run as long as Daniels is still healthy. They have talent, but I don't know. I don't know if they can make that run like they did 2 years ago, but you never know.
Yeah,
I will say Dan Quinn's on the hot seat. Dan Quinn is definitely on the hot seat. If they miss the playoffs again, I think he might be gone.
Yeah, because he really went from Atlanta as I forget. Atlanta, was he just
The
defense
ultimate
coordinator? Or was
choke
he
artist.
head coach?
No,
Yeah,
he was the
and
choke
losing the
artist head
Super Bowl.
coach.
Yeah.
Shanahan was
So
their offensive coordinator back then.
Right, that's right. Yeah, and then he goes to the Cowboys as defensive coordinator, does pretty well there, and then now is Commanders head coach, and again is just not really going great. But anyway, that leads us. Well, actually, speaking of not great, we have the New York Giants. Quick segue, since it's New York, I saw an NFL article on NFL.com that the Jets are envious in a good way of the Knicks winning the NBA Finals. It's just what? What do you think you're contenders? Is this jealousy really gonna, or this envy, this seeing your other fans burn the city down?
Does the Jets
are
stand for Woody Johnson? Does the Jets stand for Woody Johnson because the dude's a weirdo? That's what that sounds like.
Maybe. Yeah, they're you know what? I want our fans to burn the city down. Yeah, that's what I want. That's weird.
You don't even play in New York.
Yeah, it's the New Jersey Jets and Giants. Anyway, the Giants aren't that much better than the Jets. Although they do have a really, I think, exciting young roster. I mean, they do have CTE Man and his sidekick, and ironically, CTE Man is the running back, Scatterboo, and his sidekick is Jackson Dart. It's Scatterboo's being a bad influence on Dart or something. I don't know. They'll both be out of the league in 3 years because they can't spell their own name. But they're exciting to watch, at least in the meantime, for Giants fans. One guy I know who's a Giants fan is just like, yeah, we stink. I don't expect anything different, really, to be honest. It's like it's kind of sad, but it's also like, you know what? I can understand why. But the Giants have been a lot more exciting, more interesting. Harbaugh's coming in. We'll see what happens there. He could definitely help kick things up, or things could also turn a little bit weird and sideways. But regardless, Dayball is out of there, so maybe Dayball have a better time with the Titans. But yeah, the Giants 4-13. Malik Neighbors got an ACL tear in week 4. Slayton went down as well, even though like he's the wide receiver too, but like it's
But
not
don't
like, oh
worry,
no, it's
guys.
a star player.
OBJ's back.
Yeah, OBJ is back now. Whoa, crazy. It's gonna be like shoot, what is his name? Wide receiver went to the Bills that played for the Vikings. Diggs.
It's gonna
Be
be
like,
like
I'm back,
Julio in
and then
Philly.
not do anything. Yeah. So, hey, Julio got a few touchdowns, so that's generous to say that OBJ will be doing anything. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe he'll be like Messi, never ages. But
No, he'll be
Thibodeau
more
was
like
also
Shaq with the
injured.
Celtics.
Yeah, but Thibodeau was injured last season as well. Only played 10 games with a shoulder injury. Kind of killed the pass rush entirely. The Giant, they got hurt. Jackson Dart was out then too, and Scattaboo was CTE'd. But they're also a team that needs to stay healthy. But like they actively like seemingly sabotage the players, sabotage themselves so that they're not healthy. So it's like you'll get a good few games that are entertaining out of the Giants, and then the random ones. But then it's going to be like, well, everyone's hurt because they just
I
put their
could
head down
argue
and
that
charge
with
into a
Dart.
wall.
I could argue that with Dart. With Scattaboo, his injury was leg related. It really had nothing to do with
That's
the
true.
head. Like, yeah, it's a little concerning what he's doing, but the injury, which was against you guys, by the way, that happened had nothing to really do with his head at all.
That's true. But it doesn't surprise me Scattaboo got hurt, weirdly, because look at him and how he operates. But anyway, the Giants, yeah, definitely could be exciting, interesting, but they have to stay healthy. And that's more of a risk. I think that's more unlikely they're healthy for the whole season than the Commanders are. But I mean, both teams, if they're healthy, it could certainly be the NFC Beast again. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Dylan, do you have any comments on the New York Football Jersey Giants?
Harbaugh interests me. He does, because I don't know how to feel about hiring a guy who couldn't get Lamar Jackson and that Ravens team over the top. And the man had some questionable decision making, like just deciding to bench or not use Derrick Henry at all. Like, he's a good coach, but he gets in his own way too. So I'm intrigued but skeptical at the same time for them. But it's an upgrade over Dayball for sure. They blew a lot of leads last season. They could have had a lot better of a record. I mean, that Broncos one in particular, being up 26-0, I think, in the fourth quarter and blowing it. Other leads they've blown. I mean, they're a talented team. I wouldn't necessarily say they're playoff good, even if they're fully healthy. But I think they could at least be better than 4 wins. I feel like they could reach from the 7-9 win ratio at least. And yeah, I mean, I would have liked the Giants to maybe try to get a running back to help out because you know about Scattaboo's past, and maybe try to get someone, but maybe they're just banking on Scattaboo to be the guy. Who knows if coaching will maybe help him and Dart play a little bit safer. I mean, Daniels had those issues too of injured a lot. So we'll have to see. I mean, I want everyone to be healthy on the Giants because they're a fun team to watch when they're healthy. It's boring to watch them when pretty much everyone exciting's out for the season. I mean, Dart did the best he could. I was impressed by him because even with a lot of people out for the season, he still did pretty decently. So, yeah, I'm not expecting anything world beating. I mean, this is the league of turnarounds. You never know what can happen in the league, but I'm treading lightly towards them. But I don't know, cautiously optimistic about the Giants a little bit.
Thank you all for watching the DQ Football Frenzy. We are your hosts who have chill vibes, cold takes, fun segments, ows and wows, and World Cups and hockey and everything in between. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
I'll have a better outro for that next week, guys.